Good morning. Well, it's still morning here in Colorado, or hello, wherever you are in whatever time zone. My name is Bryn Catherine, and I'm here for Bryn Catherine's Beauty. This is my page, and I am just here to talk about cleaning brushes in general, all the brushes how-tos, because I think that a lot of us don't talk about that. We just talk about maybe makeup or what we like to use, but not really how to care for them. And so I just want you to feel super informed about all that. Plus, there's a new brush collection that is coming tomorrow morning. It'll be available, April 8th. So that's tomorrow. And as you can tell, I have absolutely nothing on my face right now. Well, I have Milk Moisturizer on my face right now. And so I'm actually going to use my brushes right after I clean them to do my makeup, which I think is the coolest part of all of this. So at any point that you have any questions about what we're doing, or if you're looking for links for any of the stuff I'm using, tap my nose, all the description will pop up and all the links are there. The only link that isn't there is the brush collection because that's not available yet until tomorrow, so I'll post that tomorrow. So when we're cleaning our brushes, so all of the mascara brushes are double-ended. So every single one is double-ended, which is so stinking cool. But it does make it problematic if you're trying to clean them in a sink, like if you're trying to get them wet and like scrub them out into one of those like little dishes that you like scrub in and like gets all the product out of your brush, because when you go to like lie them to dry or let them hang, there's actually two ends, right? So that makes that a little bit difficult, but mascara thought of all of that, and we actually have a better way to clean our brushes. So I'm actually going to go through and clean all my brushes. Number one, because I've been a little bit lazy lately and I need to clean them, but number two, I actually had a dermaplaning session yesterday, so you probably really can't super tell, but I have a ton, well, this you can tell, I have a ton of acne scarring and I still deal with acne. So I actually tried dermaplaning yesterday, and so far I'm liking it, but my skin, because dermaplaning is actually like the removal of your top layer of skin. So like the last 3 weeks of dead skin and all of that, and even the hair was like all taken off. So my skin is like very, very susceptible to bacteria right now, and when you don't clean your brushes, bacteria can build up inside the bristles. But you don't, like I said, you don't want to clean them in a sink, because when you're getting them underneath the water, it actually can make the glue in the handle that holds the bristles in kind of like weaken, and you can have bristles be falling out. So I'm going to clean these because I need to take care of them, and I need to take care of my face. Plus, I want you to see how freaking easy this is. So you can use pretty much anything, a towel, washcloth, paper towel. I'm going to use a towel this morning. I really like using a white paper towel or a white towel or a paper towel so that I can actually see the product coming out of the brushes. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing with you today. I like to take, so this is the Restore Brush Cleaner. Again, if you just tap, you can grab this little sucker. It's $28 and it lasts, I would say it lasts me 6 months, maybe a little bit more like 6 to 8, but I actually use mine a ton because I use it for my makeovers that I do as an artist, not just my own personal makeup. So if you're just using it for your personal makeup, it'll last probably more like 9 months to 12 months, depending on how often you clean your brushes. But this is the Restore Brush Cleaner. It smells so stinking good. I can't even tell you. It just smells so good. So you just take this and you spray it right on to the towel. I just did 3 sprays because I'm going to do a big brush, and then you swirl the bristles onto where you sprayed, and you're just swirling out that debris and the old makeup, and you can see it start to come out, and that gets your brush looking new, and it's completely sanitized and it's ready to use. Like, I can put this on my face right now. It's totally ready to use. It's not wet, nothing. Now, some people do like to spray on the brush themselves, so I like to put the towel underneath it just so it catches some of the actual excess spray. But you can actually take this and spray onto the brush if you want as well. But again, remember, you're not trying to get the base of the brush wet, because then the bristles will fall out if you loosen the glue that's inside. So I'm just kind of swirling this puppy out, and then that's the XX product. That's the blush that I've used on that side. And this brush is now completely ready to use, like this one right here. So it's so stinking fast. It's dry, ready to put on my face. It's sanitized, and it's like they're new again, I swear. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to clean all my brushes. Feel free to drop questions if you have any questions about what I recommend. Maybe like, so how many times is usually probably the most often question. How many times a week do you clean your brush? I honestly think that cleaning your brushes every time you use them is best. However, life is life, and that's probably not always going to happen. So I kind of get weird about if I'm using a brush for more than one thing. I just cleaned another brush. That's how fast that was. I just cleaned. This is the BBF brush, Best Blend Forever. So this one is I use this for powder illuminator, and then I use this one for like highlight in the other areas. But that's how stinking fast it is. But I get pretty weird about if I'm using one brush for more than one thing, I'll clean that brush more often because, for example, actually the brush I'm holding right now, this brush I use to line my lips, but then sometimes I use it for eyeshadow. And I don't want contour on this brush if I'm doing it on my eyes because I don't want to mix my cream contour with my powder eyeshadows. So just being mindful of like what you're using it for. I think that the probably most recommended and simplest like rule of thumb would be maybe once a week. Like if you can clean your brushes once a week. Look at all the stuff that's coming out, guys. Look at all this, right? Crazy. But once a week would probably be good enough to make sure that you have sanitary brushes. If you find that you're having a lot of breakouts, if you find, obviously that's something that I deal with, so I really have to manage that. If you find that your makeup's not sitting the same way, if you find that, I don't know, maybe you just feel like your face is a little more oily than normal or a little more dry than normal, always think about when was the last time you cleaned your brushes, because that bacteria buildup and that excess makeup debris, like that's not good. That's not good for your face. You want to make sure you're taking care of that. I've already cleaned 5 brushes, guys, aka 10, because they're all double-sided. So fast. And then I'm going to use these all to do my makeup. But yeah, you just don't want that stuff building up. And then you dip it back into your makeup and it's just not good. It's like a breeding ground for bacteria. This is the new Buffy brush. This guy is what I'm going to show you today. So look, this is the end I haven't cleaned. And this is the end I just cleaned. Do you see? This looks yellow, right? This looks white. Well, I mean, it's a dark brush, but the tips of the bristles look white. Crazy. I used to buy brushes and probably use them for like a year and never clean them. And then I tried to clean, oh my gosh, I bought this brush from Sephora and I liked the brush, don't get me wrong. It was like a buffing brush and I bought it because I was going to be in a wedding and I wanted to be able to do my makeup well because they didn't have a makeup artist for that wedding. And I was like, because normally like if there's an option for a makeup artist to do the makeup at your wedding, I will always take it. But this one didn't have one. I just want to note, this one was having a little bit trouble like getting everything off. I was checking it and it wasn't quite coming all off, so I got a little more spray on it, and now it's great. So all of that was one brush, because this is actually what I've been using as my main highlight brush this week. So I bought this brush and it was great. I liked it, but it was wicked expensive. Like I think I paid like $56 for one brush, and I think the most expensive brush we have here is this guy, and it's $36. And there's 2 of them. And this was just a one-sided $56 brush, but like I said, I liked it, and I used it for a full year and never cleaned it. And then I tried to clean it because I was like, oh, this is gross. I probably should clean this. And it was never the same again. I literally ended up never using it again. So sad. You can also use this Restore Cleaner for your Perfector sponge. So I'm not going to do that on camera because you'd need a sink to do that, and I'm not near a sink at the moment. But my Perfector's I already cleaned it. You do the same thing basically. You spray the Restore directly on it, and then I would squeeze it in a couple times and then run it under a sink and squeeze it a couple times and then get a paper towel. And again, when you have a paper towel and you're squeezing, you'll be able to see the product come out onto the paper towel that it has absorbed, so that you know you're actually giving it a good clean. I just really like being able to see the difference that I made. Oh my gosh, I actually don't know the last time I used this end, and it has a ton of extra makeup in it right now, so I'm really glad I'm doing this. I was just thinking I mean, if you get dermaplaning or you get facials, you know, so it's a pretty penny. And I was like, I'm not gonna mess up my dermaplaning by not putting on makeup with clean brushes today. I've got to make sure my brushes are clean. So I'm going through, cleaning them all. And like I said, $28, and it lasts so stinking long. So worth it. And if you're like, oh, it's kind of hard to travel with, and I travel a lot, we also have Restore makeup wipes, which you could do one of two things. You could use the wipe to brush out your brushes on and clean your brushes, or you could use it. Remember when I said when your brushes are dirty and then you're dipping them back into your makeup? If you want to clean the top of your makeup tins, so you could take the wipe and just like wipe over the top of your makeup tin to make sure there's no excess bacteria. Those wipes are great for travel and for that. All right, clean this puppy. I really don't know the last time I used this brush. So this has been dirty for like definitely over a week. Does that look? Yeah, that's better. And then the last one. Now this is the Power Powder, which I wasn't using a ton like in the last year, but I did start using it. I just like forgot where I sprayed. I did start using it before Buffy came out, and I was using this to buff my highlight on, and I was really liking it because I liked that it was kind of like the B² brush, where it was really condensed bristles, but that it wasn't, like I liked that there was a little more surface area to it, but Buffy has solved all of that, so I haven't been using this one at all. And this is the beauty of all this. Like, yes, this is the Power Powder brush, but I wasn't using it for powder. I was using it with creams. So everything is so versatile. You can do whatever works for you. Everybody's face shape is different, so you might want the precision of like this brush. If this makes you feel like you get more of a precision highlight coverage, you might want to use this end. So look at this. Look at that. All of that just came out of my brushes. It's disgusting. That's really, really gross. But look at these. They're all beautiful and clean now. And I can literally use them right now. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you the magic of life. So I'm actually going to keep this just in case I need to clean between. Like I said, sometimes I'll clean between. If I use one brush for two different things, I will just kind of spritz and do that. So first things first, I'm just going to do like a basic hack. If you're looking for tips on hacking videos, I have 4 different videos on my YouTube channel, 4 different ways you can hack your face. This is kind of like the 5th way because this is going to be the new brush. But basically, if you get a color match with me, this is my personal palette right here. So I have 3 highlight colors right now, and then I have my contour color. This is the contour that I line my lips with, and then my bronzer, and then these are the 2 new lip and cheeks and the illuminator. But when you get a color match by me, I typically recommend 2 highlights and 1 contour, and that's your 3D foundation. And it's kind of easy to remember because I recommend 3 colors. So you're gonna basically get recommended for your base highlight color. My base is Candlelit, so I just dipped, this is the Buffy, the new brush. I dipped the bigger end in to my Candlelit. This is my base color. So this will be, basically you can think of it as your all over color, but you still don't have to put it all over your face. Notice how I'm starting. I started kind of in this like triangle area underneath my eye. Oh my gosh, guys, my makeup is going on like butter. I think I love dermaplaning. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I haven't done my makeup yet since I had it done, and you're getting the full experience right now. Oh my gosh. This is so great. So this color, this base color that I'll recommend to you is your closest to skin tone or a shade darker than your skin tone, because you want to be able to go in and counterbalance anything that's going on in your face. So you'll notice that like I went in under my eyes because I have super dark under eyes. I'm actually going to take this on my eyelid because I also, if I get really close, you can see like I have a lot, you can see those veins, there's a lot of darkness. And so I want to balance all that out. And I don't think I've ever met anybody who has flawless eyelids. So use your cream as your primer on your eyelids, and look at that, it's all balanced out now. So I'm just going in with this candlelit, and notice how I'm stippling. I'm pressing this into my skin. I don't think I've swiped, but maybe once or twice in areas that I didn't necessarily need to buff so much. And if you're like, well, Bryn, how do I know where I need to buff and where I can swipe? If you are dealing with any texture, redness, acne, you want to press, you want to stipple. If you are in a porous area of your face, so typically this is the most porous area of our faces, you want to stipple because you don't want it to sit in those pores. If you swipe, it's going to get caught in the pores and you're just going to see like cakey looking makeup. If you're not dealing with any of that, if you just have, so there's a part of my skin that's like smooth as a baby's butt, well, pretty much my forehead. So if I go in right here, this is probably the most red, and stipple, but then I usually will swipe right here over the brow because that part's not as bad. So I'll actually like just go in and move the makeup that way. But I don't recommend you do that in all places of your face. You don't want it to get caught. I have like a little scar, I think it's an acne scar on my nose that sometimes product will get caught in. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that right there? That like little blemish. And so I want to make sure I tap onto that so that I'm not accentuating it. Oh, I have a kitty biting my toes. I wish you guys could see her. She's so cute. Okay. There's a couple things that I've done that you may not have noticed. So I pretty much avoided this part of my forehead. I left probably like this part down of my chin undone. And I really didn't like home in too much on single blemishes. Now the reason for that is, oh my gosh, she's still biting my toe, is that I actually go in with the Detail Hack. I go in with the small side because I don't want to cake on too much product in places in my skin that doesn't need it. I only want to go into those blemishes, and you see that? I just dipped once. This guy's like texturized, so he's actually completely balanced out, but you can still see the texture. So that's just gonna be what it is. But like I'm just going in and I'm just focusing on and I'm tapping in those blemished areas, so I don't end up with too much product all over my face. And I am gonna go in here just a little more. That's probably where my acne scarring is worse, the worst. And the reason I have 3 highlights, and you might not be able to tell in the camera, but I can totally tell in my mirror. Here, let me see if I can adjust the light a little bit. I'm like in a weird place right now. Can you see that my face right now is a touch darker than my neck? So this is the right color for my skin, but because it's winter time, it is a little bit deep at the moment. So I actually have this like middle color right here, white peach, which sometimes I'll recommend a middle color right off the bat, but I don't like to overwhelm people. I don't want people to feel like they have to go crazy, but it is super simple because I just dip in another area for white peach, and then I put that where I left that open on my jaw, and now this matches my neck just a little bit better. So it still ties in the whole look. And I will go in with a bit of white peach. Hi, fiance. My fiance just got home from grocery shopping. But I will just go in a little bit with this color on top of the candlelit because it just kind of tones it down and matches it to my neck. So I will go in a little bit here under the eyes and just kind of make sure everything looks really tied together. I'm still using the same end. I didn't clean in between because these colors are going to just blend so nicely together anyway that it's just all going to look flawless. I think that's just about what I'm going to do for my highlight at the moment. You'll notice because I'm talking through this, it's taking longer and I'm actually getting a little bit of a crease right here in my eyelid. If that happens to you, just go in and press it back out with your same brush that you applied it with. I'm going to powder and press that so that it doesn't crease throughout the rest of the day here in just a moment, but we'll just keep going with the rest of the hack first. So then I would actually take I've been doing my detail hack quite a bit lately. I mean, you could take your detail hack, or you could take, if you have the 30-second hack, same thing. Take the contour side. Yeah, isn't it beautiful outside? Yeah, I opened the window, or I was going to open the window out here, but I forgot. It's so pretty in Colorado Springs today, guys. So I just kind of like pawed at my contour, and I just got it on that edge, and I'm going to press it in underneath my cheekbone right there. I'm also going to do on this side. I like it to be most potent or strong or whatever you want to call it on these parts of my faces. Notice I had to stamp that one a little bit more because it didn't have as much product. But then I do want to put a little bit up here where I hadn't put any highlight as well. I kind of blend this one as I go, and just make sure that I look as three-dimensional as I do naturally with my highlight and my contour. So I just kind of blended that in as I went. And then you can come back here and blend this one into a little bit. And that's why I kind of like this brush, because it buffs really nicely. This one kind of buffed out as I put it on because it was a little bit less, but then that just adds that dimension. This one looks darker, I promise it's not. It's because the sun's coming from this direction. So actually, when you get color matched by me, one of the things I'm really going to stress, and you might be like, why does this matter so much, is that you look at a window straight on when you send me your color match picture, because if you'll notice, since the sun's coming at me from this way, this side of my nose looks darker already. And I haven't done any contour on my nose yet at all. So this side looks darker, but I promise you it's no darker than this side. It's completely the same. But that's why it's so important to look straight on at a window. So I'm going to get a little bit more, not as much this time on the edge to do my nose. And I'm just going to go down each side of my nose. And I know it looks a little crazy at first. I know. It's all going to be okay. I'm going to go in. I'm going to blend that puppy out. If the harsh line terrifies you, you can totally do this with this brush. In fact, that's like, in my opinion, like I call it my lazy girl contour, because if I just get a little bit of contour on either side and then I just go down the sides of my nose, I get the same effect, but it's just a little less precise and it still looks great. But if you're like, no, I need the ability to have this like really sharp edge where you almost just like lay it on the side of your nose, and that just gives you exactly what you're looking for, and then you just blend it. That works for you too. You do you, boo. That's why we have so many different options. And then I'm going to get a little bit more in contour underneath my chin. I'm noticing that my hair is sticking to my face way more than normal ever since I got that dermaplaning done yesterday, and I think it's because my face like doesn't have any, like literally what they, like I said, if you weren't here at the beginning, they like shaved off the top layer of skin, and that means the hair as well. So there's like no hair on my face, and I've never shaved my face before. I know some people do it like all the time with those like tinkle razors, but I just never have. But my face is just like so moisturized, it's like sticky almost. Not in a bad way, but it's just like my hair is really, it keeps sticking to it. Anyway, so there's my contour. And then I do have a second contour color in my compact. You could totally still use Astoria, but I use Indigo for my lip lining, and I use the Multitasker. When you're lining your lips, and I do have a video on my YouTube channel about this, you want to make sure you overline the bottom lip. And I know, again, it looks a little intense, don't worry. But then you'll start to pull into the actual lip here and connect. That's gonna make your lips look more full. And then that shadow is supposed to be naturally underneath your lip, right? Like if there was a light here, the shadow's supposed to be underneath. So then you would line on your lips on top. So if you think about if you had a ring light and the ring light was shining down on you, right? Your natural shadow would be under your top lip and under your bottom lip. So it feels weird because you're like overlining on your bottom and lining within on top, but I promise it all makes sense. And if you feel like it's a little intense on the bottom, you can just kind of soften it. I'm using the 30-second hack. And then the reason I do this is because when I go in, what color do you guys want to know? What do you want to see today? Thinking, Loyalist is a good color. Maybe we'll do Loyalist. It's a really light color, which is another good reason to line your lips. It just gives your lip dimension. You see that? So when I went in with that color, I think sometimes a really light color like this could get lost and just kind of blend into your skin because it's so nude. So some people don't like wearing really, really light colors because they feel like it just blends into their face. But if you notice that like the lining makes a huge difference, and if you're like, well, the top lining doesn't always stay as nice because you kind of go over it with the lips, or I'm sorry, with the color, you could always go back and get a little bit more. Plus I have another trick I'm going to show you here in a minute to make your top lip pop. Cool? So then this is my highlight and my contour, and I just did my lips in, by the way, it's a Maybelline Matte Ink color, Loyalist. I stinking love all those colors. But I'm actually going to go back to, I'm pressing out my eyelids again, and I'm going to go back to, or no, hold on one second. I'm going to do one of the new lip and cheeks first. That's what we're going to do. So I have two new lip and cheek colors. They just came out a week ago. One is called Summer Love. The other is Ballerina. I love them both. I think they're both gorgeous, but I'm going to show you Summer Love today. So Summer Love is a little bit pinky, but also kind of nude. I'm using the B squared, the smaller end of the B squared brush. I typically use the smaller end when it's a more nude and lighter color because I'm not afraid of it. So if I was using a color like Black Cherry or Ruby or Scarlet, I would use this end, but I'm using this end because I feel like I have a lot of control with a color like Summer Love. Look how pretty that is. And I didn't swipe, I stippled again, and I just stippled that right above the contour. I married up to the contour into my cheek. And that's as simple as it needs to be. And you can build it up if you want. You can keep a very small amount, whatever your natural preference is. I typically go a little heavier for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm going to powder. Because I'm a super oily gal, I'm going to put powder on in just a moment, and when I put powder on, it does kind of dim it down a little bit, so I try to go a little stronger so that I can still see it when I put that powder on in a moment. But yeah, that's why. And these two colors, Ballerina and Summer Love, they're a new formula, so they're not matte, they're not glossy, they're satin. I think for me, it feels like, it even smells like, Ballerina smells like, to me, like the old lipsticks that we got as kids in like the little, like kitty makeup kits. I don't know if you guys remember, like as little girls when we used to get little makeup kits. I just feel like Ballerina smells like that. Those like lipstick, chapstick, I don't know. I feel like they were Smuckers. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Hearts if I'm making sense. But they're like chapsticky, lipsticky colors. They're not quite gloss. It's just, I don't know, it's like a marriage between the two. I'm probably not doing this any justice, but I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go back to the Buffy brush though now. I'm going to go to the small end, and I'm going to go to my brightening color. My color is Linen. So this is the other color that I usually recommend to people. It's not always linen, but I always recommend to people a brightening color. And it's a color that is lighter than your skin tone, but it matches the bright parts of your face. And so you'll notice I'm just tapping this in right under my eye, And look at how much brighter that side of my face looks. And remember, this is the side that's more shadowed too. So if you take this and you're putting this right under your eye to give your face that really bright and awake look, right? And then this color might also kind of like my neck, like this color matches my neck a little bit better. So it's almost like I have a darker complexion around the outsides of my face, like I've been sun-kissed a little bit. But this matches my neck better because our neck doesn't really get tan very well. Like our necks are usually covered by our chins. So this just kind of makes you look three-dimensional and like a person, not necessarily just like washed out one color. I did dip it a little bit more, but not too much. And I'm going to go down the center of the nose just to accent that contouring I did. I try not to swipe too much. I almost like dab swipe as I do that step, because you don't want streaks, which this brush is so good at not providing streaks, or, you know, eliminating streaks. But you still want it very, very crisp and like right in the center of your nose. Cool. And you can play with this, like if you want to put a little bit here and make things a little bit brighter. If you want to put a little on your chin, see that? Brightens up just a touch, not too crazy. You can put a little here, brighten up your Cupid's bow a little bit, and there you go. And you can probably see, like, this is a super dewy finish for me, way more dewy than normal because of the dermaplaning that I had done yesterday. So I'm actually going to go in right now and press out with some powder just to make sure that this stays all day long and it doesn't feel like it's dripping off my skin. So now that all my creams are on, I'm actually going to take my damp perfector, and I'm using the word damp because it is not wet. If it is wet, it's going to wipe your makeup off. If it's dry, it's going to absorb your makeup off. You want to make sure it's damp. And I'm just going to put the butt of the perfector in and get a healthy amount of powder and press this in onto the creams. And you can do this with a brush. I used loose powder though because I'm so oily, and I don't believe that brushes and loose powder always work as well. If you're using a pressed powder, you can totally use a brush and it'll probably give you the effect you're looking for. But again, as a super oily gal, that's not really worth my time and effort. Like, I really want to make sure I'm marrying the powder to the creams, and in order to do that, I almost have to put on a little too much and press it in. And then you can even go in, this is where the term baking comes in. So if you're wondering what baking is, if you're putting on more powder than your face actually needs, then you can actually wait for the powder to warm up to the cream that's on your skin, because your skin's warm, and then you can wipe off the excess that wasn't absorbed by the warmth of your skin. But now look now, that's way, I mean, it's still a little dewy, but it's not nowhere near. Got a little extra powder around my nose ring. Nowhere near where it was before, which just makes me feel so much more comfortable because it's not going to drip off all day. Cool. And then, like I said, if you want, you could take a big brush after a couple minutes and just make sure there's no excess powder. I don't usually do that because my face absorbs all the powder it can, but it's up to you. Another new brush, which I'm super excited to show you guys today, is the Hotline. So this, oh my gosh, this brush is so intense. It actually scared me a little bit at first because of how intense it is. It's so precise. It makes doing your brows or your liner so much faster, but you also don't want to do it wrong. So I did get a little bit of trust on the end, and then I'm not even going to talk through the step actually. I'm going to start on the bottom inside part, and I'm going to draw a solid line. So watch. And it's so solid. Look how solid that is. There's something about how tightly packed these bristles are that it's just so much more precise. And it actually makes really great hair-like strokes too. So now I'm going to pull up from that line. And it's almost like I'm combing out the hairs of my brow at the same time as making them look more filled in where there are no hairs. And then there's still a spoolie on the end so that this brushes out as well. So this is replacing, here's the old one. This is the Know Your Angles, and this is the Hotline. Can you see that? I'm trying to make sure it's focused. No? Yes? I feel like that's not focused still. Maybe if I get out of the frame. You see the difference? This one's so much smaller. So it's way, 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 way more precise. And again, I'm using the color Trust. If you're not sure what color your brows are, I did post a little guide. If you're blonde, ginger, brunette, and then it actually says on the picture, and I've gotten a lot of questions, if you're a raven, raven is a black-haired beauty. So if you're like, what the heck is a raven? That's ladies with black hair. If you're one of those, there are some recommendations for you guys too. So it just kind of depends on what your hair color is. And then there's like 2 recommendations, if not 3, per hair type. So for blondes, I recommend either Oak or Trust. It kind of just depends on how intense you like your brows. Oak is a little bit less intense. Trust is a little bit more. You always, as a blonde, you always want to be matching. Here, let me show you. Your brows to your roots, because typically a lot of us have highlights of sorts. I have a balayage done, but I want my brows to match my natural hair color. So that's why I go a little bit darker, just so that they actually stand out and look like that. And then I'm going to finish up here with some Angel Illuminator. This is the new Illuminator. If you guys saw my stories, if you are frightened of Illuminator, if you've never worn it and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to put anything that's glittery on my face, Cream Illuminator's not glittery. I wouldn't even use the word shimmery. It just kind of is a sheer sparkle. I don't even think that's the right word. Can you see that though? See that sparkle as I move? And this is like no filter. This is just all mascara makeup. This crap is so great. I usually put a little bit on my nose. And then here's the trick to make the top of your lip stand out. Put a little illuminator on your Cupid's bow, so that your lip doesn't just like blend into your Cupid's bow. Cool. And then I'm not going to do anything too crazy for eyes today. I think I'm just going to go in with my Blend and Tap. I freaking love this brush. I'm going to use the oval end with the color, what do I want to use? Actually, no. Can't decide. What do I want? I'll go in with Stay Golden. I love that color. Plus, all the proceeds of Stay Golden go to Foster Care Foundation. So if you want to support a really great cause, this color and Mi Hija are both 100% proceeds go to, it's called 3D Foundation. It's a playoff of Our Makeup, which is 3D Foundation. But it is to support foster care awareness and how to become a foster care parent, because our CEO and her husband, or I guess our creator and her husband, they are foster parents, and their mission is to create more foster parents in America than foster kids, because a lot of foster kids don't have the choice of where they are. And I know as a teacher, I've had kiddos that have had to move states, even though their friends or maybe older siblings live here in Colorado. They'll have to move to accommodate being in the foster system, and it's really, really sad. So if you're interested in any of that, it's a great cause. I'm actually going to take this same brush that I was just using for my brows with the same color, and I'm going to do a little bit of eyeliner as well. And I just tap along the the upper lash line and get this where my lashes meet my eyelid. It's almost like contouring, but for your eyes. That's all eyeliner is. You've all been contouring your eyelids for years. Here we go. And I'm actually going to do a little bit on the outer corner lower lash line and pull up a little into a mini wing. There's a mirror behind you guys, because this is really hard to do in a phone. But there we go. And if you get this Hotline brush and you're struggling a little bit at first with how precise it is, it just takes practice. But once you get a feel for how precise it truly is, and it'll do the work for you. You honestly don't have to think much about what you're doing. It's just crazy, crazy precise. Okay, I got my wing on that other side. I'm just gonna fill in down to the lash line and then get this going. Sorry, that part's hardest to talk through. Cool. And we have some more BKB eyeshadow school coming your way. So if you've been looking for BKB eyeshadow school and you thought it was ending in March, so did I. But you guys might have noticed I kind of fell off the face of the earth at the end of March, and that was due to some logistical issues with my phone. And so I wasn't able to go live as often as I wanted to because it just wasn't working. So I've extended BKB eyeshadow school into April, and I will be doing more about that very, very soon. And we will do our giveaway in April now, which gives you an extra month, but we are a week into April now, so an extra 3 weeks from now to enter into the giveaway, which is for a Milk mask. But I still wanted to go live and show you guys a winged eyeliner tutorial. I think I have about 20 more colors I want to show you guys, eyeshadow colors, and then I wanted to show you the Milk mask in action before we did the drawing. So we are extending for another 3 weeks, because why not? Let's have some more fun. And then we'll wrap up. So if you're like, what giveaway is she talking about? If you go to the links in this video, it'll take you to the Spring Fling party. Any purchases made related to eyeshadow will be entered in to win a Milk mask. So if you're like, well, what the heck is she talking about? But this is all. This is gonna be my simple Sunday look. I'm gonna go hang out with my cute fiance and probably have some lunch here in just a little bit because it's already afternoon. But thanks for joining, and I hope you guys found this super helpful. If you need a color match, send me a DM. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will announce tomorrow when the brush collection sale goes live so that you can go and snag yourself some new brushes, because it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a combination, I believe, of the Buffy B Squared, the BBF, I think there's the Hotline. I think it's the Hotline, and then either one of these two brushes. I can't remember. Maybe it's both of them, the eyeshadow brushes, and then I think there's one more. So there's like 7 brushes, and I think it's discounted $60 or $70. So I will get all those details in my stories for you tomorrow. So happy Sunday, loves, and I will see you next time.